It's really weird, isn't it, when Arsenal start to get a string of results together and start to really show some dominance. There's different ways in which the media tries to change the narrative, tries to make it seem like Arsenal are in a false position. In today's video, we'll be looking at Jamie Carragher, who's made some pretty dodgy and I'd say pretty weird remarks about Arsenal in terms of really sort of trying to stamp this sort of idea that Arsenal are a set-piece reliant team, whether that be long throws, whether that be set pieces. There was something on Monday Night Football and after the West Ham Brentford game, which I'll show you, but also something after the Liverpool game where he mentions Arsenal again. But before I do begin, if you are new here, please do hit the like and subscribe. The support has been really good recently. I genuinely appreciate it. But let's get straight into it. And this first segment from Jamie Carragher is after the Monday Night Football where Brentford pretty much battered West Ham, and he's talking about long throws. So just have a listen to what he says and we'll dissect it, then move on to the next thing that he said.
Best teams do it. You know, when I remember Arsenal last season at PSG, I think in the Champions League, they just absolutely battered them for the first 15, 20 minutes with long throws going into the box. But I just think when you've got real quality, you can get the ball into the box, the time it's taken to take throw-ins, and I'm just like,
So firstly, he says Arsenal battered PSG with long throws. And if I can remember, we had one long throw into the box. Martinelli, little flick at the keeper, didn't quite go in. Thomas Partey was the one that was taking those long throw-ins. But Arsenal did accumulate a lot of quality chances through open play. I'm thinking about the second half alone, Saka missing that tap-in. You're looking at other chances across the game as well, which Arsenal had. Odegaard had a driller from the edge of the box, which Donnarumma saved to a ridiculously high level. Then we talk about the opportunity for Declan Rice, where he headed it wide. So already that narrative from the PSG game from the first 15 minutes where we were excellent, the narrative has been changed that Arsenal created most of those chances from throw-ins. So even we're going back now, we're going even further back into older games to sort of put this narrative that Arsenal is a set-piece reliant team. And we hear his comments there, and I don't want you Arsenal fans to just ignore it. He's essentially saying, why are Arsenal taking these long throw-ins when they've got players that are able to play? Look, I feel like people are not getting that football is now a game of margins. The way you're going to get these victories over these teams is to create marginal gains. And if set pieces, if long throws are those marginal gains, then so be it. If Arsenal take a short throw in, it allows for the defense to be settled. And I made this sort of remark on my other channel, TM Football Analysis, about Arsenal versus Fulham and how, you know, to create opportunities for yourself against these low or mid-block structures, you've got to create chaos and you've got to create an unsettled approach from the opposition. And long throw-ins, it allows for the opposition to not be in a settled structure. They're a bit confused. When they come out from that long throw-in, the defenders aren't in the right places. They've had to bring their centre-forward backwards because you want to build sustained pressure against a team which are not structurally set. And doing these long throw-ins, doing these balls into the box are only going to help your case in creating an unsettled opposition setup. And I know it's a bit of a ramble there, but I'm sure you guys get what I'm trying to say here is there is no shame in Arsenal doing these long throw-ins because the game has changed and these teams are sitting more defensively. These teams are making it more uncomfortable for you to be able to go short and play the ball around and try and penetrate them. The game has been forced into this sort of thing whereby we have to be more precise in terms of, you know, playing the ball around, precise to levels where we have to change it up and go long and try and put the ball into the box, creating that chaos. And he also mentions in this that it takes ages for throws to be taken. And him saying that was actually a dig towards Arsenal. It genuinely was a dig again towards Arsenal because every time he's on commentary talking about Arsenal and these set pieces and us taking so long to take them, it's only against Arsenal. I don't see it against other opposition teams talking about them taking long. So again, he's saying that Arsenal waste time. They don't want the game to be quick. But look, marginal games, get yourself ready, set. Why do we score so many set pieces? Because we take care. We really understand the amount of seconds you must take before you take an action. We know these marginal gains, and you hear me say that a lot. Marginal gains is what Arsenal are playing for. As long as you allow as much marginal gains for yourself, the opposition aren't going to be able to get their own marginal gains. And that's really important in modern day football. So Carragher, he can be salty. He can say we're a set piece throw-in team creating chances from that and we should play a bit more. But ultimately, Why are we so good at these situations? Because we take it really seriously. Every detail counts. And I think current football, punditry, media, they don't like that that's the case. But what can we do? Keep on doing our thing. But let's move on to the next comment he made after the Liverpool game. And it was him talking about Liverpool. I mean, it's just hilarious. Just have a listen before I go on and ramble on and explain it.
But the way the Premier League is style-wise this season, for everybody, set pieces is a big part of the game. Everybody's taking long throws this season. You know, set pieces galore. We look at Arsenal, the success they've had as well. And Liverpool just can't seem to cope at the moment. So we keep talking about new signings and integrating them in terms of actually the football Liverpool are playing. But the new signings that Liverpool have brought in, has it affected them set piece wise as well? You know, the fullbacks are quite small.
I think the end part really got me. The fullbacks are quite small. So why is that our problem? Why is that Arsenal's problem? You know, set piece galore is the term he was used there to describe Arsenal. And see, it's crazy what these pundits can do to try and create a different narrative around Liverpool. Liverpool have been poor. Just put a full stop there. They've been poor, both in possession, out of possession. The chances they give to the opposition, the chances they create is pretty good. But ultimately, yes, they're really leaky from set pieces. So when we're talking about a team that are really poor from set pieces and you're seeing the impact of it, shouldn't we really be praising Arsenal for the time and the care that they take over these set pieces? Because they're clearly important, right? They're clearly very important. I think the worst thing about the way that this set piece narrative has been created around Arsenal is it's because we just aren't just a set piece team. Like, I'm going to show you a graphic, and I'm going to show you it now, in fact, about XG created. And XG is the expected goals of Arsenal, and this is in open play. And yes, we're in the top 6, and with the context of opposition that we've played, and the games in which those sort of turned into, Manchester United away from home, really difficult. We didn't have Kai Havertz, who was not really starting, who's used to the way we play. Eze wasn't here yet. We're talking about Ben White, who didn't look quite fit in that game as well. You know, there's so many factors in those games. Declan Rice wasn't up to speed. And we still created enough XG to go away with 3 points. You then move on to the next game, Leeds 5-0. A team which, again, tried to press us, tried to attack us. Look how many goals we scored from open play there and how many chances we created from open play. Very good. You then move on to Liverpool, Anfield away. They needed a set piece to beat us. A free kick, a piece of brilliance, by the way. I'm not taking away from that. So again, that's another thing. Then we move on and we're looking again to the Nottingham Forest game. We created very good opportunities. Yes, a set piece situation was scored from Zubimendi. Okay, I get it. A penalty. Yes, okay, I get it. But again, look, you're looking at these games and you're saying these are difficult games. And in the games where we played against teams which try and come at us, we create open play. XG. Manchester City, they came to just sit against us and we still created opportunities. Martinelli scored a wonderful goal. You had to be really precise to create that. We then move on yet again to another game, the one we've just played. Look, we created enough open play XG as well. Saka getting into really crucial positions. So this narrative about Arsenal not being good from open play, I think we've got to give us time until at least after January when everybody's clicking. We've got all our players fit. Erdegaard's not even played multiple games. Havertz hasn't been back as well. You know, Ngapié, these players are going to be key to the way we create from open play. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on the things I've discussed. But until next time, peace.